Hi everybody and welcome to IT Chronicles 10 and Tech. I'm Kirstie Magowan. I'm here today with my co-host Carlos Casanova. Hi Carlos.
Hey Kirstie, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And Kathleen Wilson. Hi Kathleen.
Hi Kirstie, how are you? Hi Carlos.
Hey Kathleen.
No, very well. And today we have the pleasure of chatting with Beth Coleman from Catalink. And nice to see you, Beth.
Thank you very much, Kirstie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, good to have someone on here from my part of the world for a change, also based in New Zealand.
Yes, have the wrong accent, but that's okay. I try. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, Beth, I mean, you work in the, you do a lot of knowledge-centered service and whatnot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, what is it really about? Because it's not something I think a lot of folks in the industry are really that familiar with. So just kind of give us a high-level tour of, what that is and, how you're working in that space.
Okay, so knowledge-centered service was it was organized by a group of people who got together to innovate in service innovation in the 90s. So it's been around for a long time. That group decided to do some work towards how ideas and then innovated or tested those and identified where they could improve customer service, particularly around IT services, but it can go across the organization. And since then, they've been innovating and they created a new organization called the KCS Academy, which is it's a profit-making organization. The group that established that, the Consortium for Service Innovation, is based in the US, and it's made up of a group of profit-making organizations that decided to collaborate. They're also working in intelligent swarming, customer prediction analytics, and other areas that have become very important to them after the KCS methodology was established. So I work in KCS with primarily organizations that want to achieve better focus around customer excellence in the portal, where the customer is going for receiving information or getting help. And to do that, you have to have decent knowledge, which allows people to search and find easily. It has to be fairly structured. To create that, you need a process by which people structure the knowledge using the customer's input during a call or from an email or whenever they're talking to a customer in an engagement of any kind. And that gets added to a knowledge article in a structured way, which can then be shared amongst the teams or put up into the portal for the customer to use. Ideally, the results of this increase the first-time resolve at service desks, reduce the cost of running a service desk, as well as provide more time for service desk analysts to work on other more complicated, complex problems. And then ultimately, the customer is also able to find the knowledge because or the knowledge article, the information, because the information has been recorded or stored with their input during the time that they were talking. So the customer voice is captured as part of that process.
I think that's one of the things I really like about KCS is that constant review of the content so that it does capture that customer voice, so that when the next customer comes in and searches for something, it's quite likely that someone else has used that same terminology that they're using. So it's going to become a lot easier for them to the whole idea that they are living documents and they're under a constant review each time they're used is the thing that really hits me about KCS.
Yes, and the ideal scenario too is that when we move towards digital transformation and we start working with analytics, AI, and even creating bots, that information is very useful for deciding on what knowledge needs to be available and can be used by automated systems to enable reduction of repeats coming in, repeat calls that's handled by the bot, ideally, in the future. Or a person will search now, currently, if they don't have a chatbot scenario, they can search easily and find what they need before they make a call.
Yep.
So it's really focused around the customer, although the process needs to be well defined and people understanding every reason behind it in order to actually get people to engage. And so there's a lot of change management that occurs because it's a new way of thinking. Instead of thinking, I know the knowledge in my head and I'm going to keep that up there so that I can help and become a hero. I'm now going to share that knowledge so that everyone else can use it. And I get acknowledged for that by virtue of the fact that the customer has seen it and has used it. And I'm recognizing that I'm solidly engaged in this process and benefiting the whole organization. So the key is that everyone needs to kind of understand what's in it for me. And so it's not just what's in it for the organization, it's also what's in it for me. So the KCS principles around trust. First, we need to know that we can trust the rest of the team to publish decent articles, make sure that they're accurate. And in some environments, accuracy is really important. But also the concept that abundance is important, that the more we know that we can share, the better it is for everyone, including me, because, by the way, if I share this, it might mean that I won't get that call next time and be interrupted. So, for some people, it really is about having more time because I'm sharing and shifting left the information that I have in order to avoid having repeat calls all the time, interrupting my important work.
So does that actually, like, so there's a conversation going on with customer, is it automatically getting processed into there? How does that verbal, that audible conversation get translated into the knowledge documents and put in there? Is there technologies that are leveraging that, and or is it still progressing towards that sort of real-time learning and documentation?
That's actually a great question. Most of the time, people are capturing the information just as they would in a ticket. So they are typing, and it gives them enough time, generally when they're working on a ticket, to create a knowledge article quickly if they haven't found one. The search first, meaning I will search to see if someone has created this information rather than recreating it and reinventing the wheel. The search first process is important because when they open the article and review, they are actually conducting a review. To capture the information from the customer, they ideally will be using a process whereby that information can easily be recorded. So they should see, and some of the tools are doing this now, they should see the form come up straight away when they haven't searched and found. If they've found, then they should easily be able to attach the existing knowledge article and use it quickly to resolve the ticket. And that is being done now. And some of the service management tools are ensuring that happens.
So, Beth, one of the challenges we've seen, in the past is how do we incentivize people to share knowledge? And, how are you helping organizations realize or benefit from incentivizing their employees to create knowledge that can be either consumed internally or externally by customers?
So the incentives need to be clearly defined by the teams in the sense of it's teamwork. The teams define the goals that they're aiming to achieve. The outcome of this will be a benefit to the team as well as the individual for not having as many calls coming through on a particular topic they don't want to repeat on, such as password resets or other repeat type calls. So the teams have to engage. And it is also about management understanding that they are actually looking for outcomes. So the metrics associated with KCS are well defined, clearly focusing around outcomes. You can put measures on trends, so you can say, how many knowledge articles do we create per month? But we look at it as a trend. It's never used as a goal. The ideal is that let's create knowledge that can be useful to our teams. Let's create knowledge that can be useful for the customer. And by doing so, we'll get a better result. First, from the customer being happier. If we use that knowledge while we're resolving, we get greater consistency. And very often that is a big motivator. The team knows that answer is the correct one that everyone's agreed to. And that's a big motivator to know that the information they're providing is giving them the confidence that it is the right answer. Everyone's viewed it, everyone's reviewed it before it goes live, or most people have seen it. So the motivation is consistency and creating a sense of sharing where we know the answer, but we can't find it anywhere. We spend a lot of time looking. Now we have a central knowledge base where we can find that information. And also getting people into a sense of, let's look at what level 2 does. Let's look carefully at how level 2 can provide us with more knowledge so we can become more skilled. And sending that knowledge article on to level 2 when we don't know the answer gives us a chance to ask them, please complete this. We don't know the answer, and getting that information next time, we'll have that information when we answer that kind of call.
Yeah, when you go into an organisation that has that hero culture, where people like to hold their knowledge very tightly because they, I mean, there's several reasons for it. Obviously, some of them think it's going to protect their jobs if they're the only one who knows the answer, and other people just like to feel like they're important, and that culture is really widespread. So, how do you tackle that, breaking down that hero culture, getting people to release that information?
Well, first of all, you have to understand what the motivation is for adding it to the knowledge base and why would they do so. And then you have to engage them in conversation around what are the key tickets, what are the solved by someone else so that you're not interrupted, what areas of information would be useful to share with level 1, for instance. Where would you use a mobile phone, for instance? So if you're using a mobile phone out in the field and you want instant knowledge to help you resolve, hey, here's a way to do this. We create knowledge articles that we will use instantly, giving us either information, images, videos, or diagnostics that we can use in the field or while we're solving. Once the teams begin to create their own knowledge that they can use in that way, you get a greater understanding of why have it. And
Right.
then the sharing of it becomes more of a natural thing because the team members are acknowledging that and thanking the others for doing it. So it's it's got to be a team effort.
Yeah, and I think that's the real key, right? Is, as Kathleen kind of mentioned, how do you get them to do it? How do you get them to fully participate and understand the benefits of everything? Always the challenge is, the people and the culture, more so than the tools and the processes and stuff. So thank you for enlightening us on KCS a little bit, Beth. Really appreciate you joining us, and look forward to, myself in particular, look forward to how, that starts tying in with, the AI components, I think, in the future, where it automatically starts essentially transcribing that information and addresses some of the cultural things. But thanks for joining us, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Great.
Lovely to see you, Beth.
Thanks, Kirstie.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.